Kagome's birthday calculated. After a lot of studying, asking teachers from Japan, variations of the manga, novelization, and episodes for lunar cycles, I believe I have come up with a definitive answer for Kagome's birthday, without dismissing it as, hey, they never said her birthday, making it as accurate as you can be, because there is actually enough evidence overall that can pinpoint an exact date. First of all, there are two different versions of the manga. One says 1997 and the other one says 1996. The one that says 1997 is actually incorrect, so we will use the correct one, 1996, for this matter. Kagome at the beginning of the series says that it's her birthday. It's spring, which would be in April for Japan. She also is 15 years old. In chapter 35, they are in their summer clothes, which means they are in midterms. Now, Hiroyuki is actually an English teacher in Japan who has mentioned the terms for schooling in her group, so Kagome definitely fits the bill for being in junior high school. Japan runs a 3-term system. The Japanese school year begins in April and ends in March, and is divided into 3 semesters. The school year starts in April. So the first semester begins in April and ends near late July. The second term starts in September, but Kagome doesn't say it's the first day of the second semester, and it isn't fall. In fact, in the 4th volume, she mentions it's summertime, which points to April, and June is the beginning of summer. Hiroyuki specifically states it's the first day of school being April 1st, so that's the definitive month for spring, the beginning of the school year. So we know 2 things so far: 1996, April, first semester of school, and in Japan. Another factor that people question way too much and all the time, they question it incorrectly, is actually her uniform. A few of our members also discussed the changing of uniforms. It is common knowledge that this occurs. I have seen people argue about it, saying Kagome is starting her second semester. That would mean, after my calculations, Kagome's birthday would be September 24th. But a second semester in the first episode, which is very untrue. In episode 11, we can assume that it is the last day of winter wear, that it is May 31st. In episode 12, they all switch to their summer wear, June 1st. We can also use Mayu as a great example. Mayu Ikeda was stated in episode 12 and chapter 35 by Sota that she had passed away 6 months earlier. The series does have its own regular time jumps, and sometimes we are given hints as to how much time has passed in between episodes, but I'll explain that in a bit how that plays out for her birthday. In this episode, everyone has changed into their summer uniforms, meaning that Kagome is at least in June now. That means Kagome has been on her journey for 2 months at episode 12, chapter 35. That means Mayu died in December, which matches her attire. Kagome says, why is she wearing a down jacket? It's summer, isn't it? Mayu is 10 years old and she was an elementary school student. In real life, elementary school students wear casual clothes very similar to Mayu's, with big jackets. You can see the kid on the far left is actually wearing a big red jacket just like hers. They are only wearing their summer uniform for 3 months until October 1st. They get into their summer uniforms June 1st. Again, this would contradict her saying it's her second semester, then her first, which is undoubtedly April. If it's easier to explain this way, Kagome is wearing her school uniform that is long-sleeved April, May, and then June 1st. For then 3 months, it's her short-sleeved uniform, then until October, until June again, which means they are usually wearing their long-sleeved uniform for 8 months. Well, not really because of their breaks in between, but you get my point. A majority of the time, they are wearing that version. That explains why Kagome is almost always seen wearing her long-sleeved uniform. Then, there is also this line only in the novelization of Inuyasha, where it's stated to be autumn only in the feudal era. While in the anime and manga, it's spring, but for the novelization's autumn, this is normal. Traveling 500 years, seasons and weather do change each year. We do have global warming as the current date. 500 years ago, it was completely different due to distance and tilts. Have as much of a headache as I do? It doesn't end there. Now I remember seeing the moon a lot in the anime and manga. This is gonna help me out. On episode 3, Kagome's grandpa says, "You were missing for 3 full days." At this point, the episode is at sunset and is becoming nighttime. Episode 4 starts at nighttime, continuing on the same day. What do we have here? Here we go again. This is where we can define everything right down to an exact date and figure out what Kagome's birthday really is, using pre-recorded weather patterns and moon cycles in Japan as of 1996. My calculations for her birthday are April 1st, April 30th. Kagome is the definitive April born. The best one being full moon in April 1996 is actually the 4th. That means that 3 days earlier from what Grandpa Higurashi stated is in fact exactly April 1st. Full moon in May 1996 is May 3rd. Taking 3 days would be April 30th. Let's narrow it down further. Children who have their 6th birthday on or before April 1st enter the 1st grade of elementary school of that year. As we check the way that schools are calculated, Kagome would have to be turning 15 on April 30th. What are the odds of us being able to figure all of that? I mean, Kagome states it's her birthday and it just so happens to land on the first month of school, being April. Kagome's date of birth confirmed April 30th, 1981.